Man, this co-main event feels like one of those matchups that the UFC made with a very specific outcome in mind. You've got Lerone Murphy, calm, undefeated, kind of boring, standing across from Aaron Pico, who's, let's be real, the walking highlight reel. They've been eyeing this guy since his Bellator days, okay? And you just know the matchmakers are picturing big takedowns, wild scrambles, and a knockout for the reals. They're not exactly crossing their fingers for Murphy to spend 3 rounds jabbing and moving. They want fireworks, and they want Pico to be that guy. I mean, after all, they gave Pico a number one title shot opportunity at one point against Masvar Evelev. And obviously that fell through. And again, if he beats Lerone Murphy, he's going to be guaranteed a number one contender shot for the belt. You just know it, dude. You just know it. Murphy's undefeated. He's on this win streak. He's high on the rankings. And they're just hoping and praying that Aaron Pico comes in and gets a highlight reel knockout over Lerone Murphy. But that's exactly why this fight is so interesting. We've seen this movie before with crossover guys, the Bellators or the PFL standouts show up with all this hype. Sometimes they hit the ground running like Michael Chandler or MVP, and sometimes they slam right into the UFC wall like Pitbull or Patchy Mix, and all that buzz just dies. Different cage, different lights, different pressure. Pico's got the tools, he's got the hype, but his resume isn't exactly stacked with big names. I mean, who's he fighting? Joe Schmo? He's fighting taxi drivers, dude. While Murphy, on the other hand, has some real UFC wins, he just fights in a way that doesn't light social media on fire. Basically, he's just Leon Edwards 2.0. Consistent, technical, and quietly beating everyone they put in front of him. So here's the thing about Lerone Murphy. The guy fights like he's reading a book in there. Calm, page turning, no rush, no panic. He's not in there trying to win a UFC bonus in the first 30 seconds, okay? Far from it. He's in there trying to make you fight his fight. And when he's on, it's frustrating as hell for his opponents because it feels like nothing you're doing is landing too clean. But every shot he's landing on you is like a leg kick, a small jab. He's not a death by 1,000 punches guy, like a Max Holloway. And he's not a one-punch nuke like a Francis Ngannou. He's somewhere in between, sharp in precision and patience. That jab, it's not just a rangefinder, it's a tool that keeps you honest. It's that thing that stops guys like Emmett and Ige from getting comfortable charging in. He flicks it out there, forcing you to reset. And then the moment you think you got a read, boom, right hand, check hook, or a sneaky uppercut when you're trying to level change. And the man's composure is elite. It's not just about not panicking when you get hit. It's about never letting the fight speed up beyond what you want. You watch the Edson Barboza fight. Edson's one of the most dangerous kickers in the game. Murphy didn't. He just kept doing his thing, waited for the right moments to plant his feet, and then fire something clean. Now here's where things get tricky for him, and why this fight is so damn interesting. That low volume sniper style is amazing when you're dictating the range. But when someone's in your face every second, throwing, faking, shooting takedowns, clinching, making you just react, that's when you start losing minutes. And in MMA, losing minutes means losing rounds. Even if nothing huge lands, the judges are seeing the aggression and the activity. Murphy's takedown defense is fine. Not great, not terrible. The number around is like 52%. And yeah, on paper, that's not good. But it's misleading because he's slippery once he hits the mat. He's not the type to just accept bottom position. He's working, he's framing, he's getting back to his feet. But again, there's a big difference between fighting Gabriel Santos and trying to stand up with Aaron Pico. Pico will make you fight for every inch, and he'll keep coming. But Murphy's ace in the hole is his mental game. That ability to stay relaxed, not overreact, and slowly pick you apart. It's huge, especially if Pico starts to slow down. If Murphy can survive the early flurries, make Pico shoot over and over and keep his back off the mat for long stretches, then by round 2 or 3, we could be looking at a totally different fight. And every time he gets up, I want to see him make Pico pay. Touch him with the jab, sting him with the counter, dig a hook to the body. Just a little reminder that every takedown attempt has a price tag on it. Because once you make a guy hesitate on the shot, you take away half of what makes him dangerous. Now, Aaron Pico, man, this dude is such a weird case in MMA because on paper, he's the kind of fighter you built in a video game. He's got the Olympic level wrestling background. He's explosive as hell. He's got that legit boxing skill, crisp jab, sharp combinations, knows how to work the body. And physically, The man is a fast twitch machine. You blink and he's already in your face, either letting his hands go or dropping levels for a double. But here's the double-edged sword for Pico, okay? All that speed, all that aggression, it's not free. You can only burn that hot for so long before you start feeling it. That's why you see him as terrifying, unstoppable, fright train early. And then sometimes, if the finish doesn't come, the pace slows down and the mistakes start creeping in. It's like watching a sport car going from flying down the freeway to running on fumes. Now, what makes him so dangerous though is that first round cheat code he has. Most guys, even great wrestlers, need a little setup time. They've got to throw some feints, get a read, work the jab before they can change levels. Pico, on the other hand, nah. He can cover distance in a heartbeat and just be under you before you even registered the shot. And when he gets a hold of you, he's chaining things together. It's like second nature. He dumps you down, you pop up, he's already on your legs again. It's relentless. And because of that wrestling threat, his hands are even sneakier than people give him credit for. I mean, you're so worried about him ducking under that, you're half a beat late reacting to his overhand right or his jab cross. That's how he's been able to starch guys who thought they were safe standing with him. But, and this is where I start to hesitate when I talk about him, Pico has this tendency to fall in love with his own hands. And when he does that, he starts staying in the pocket longer than he should. That's where guys like these other jobbers like Henry and Adam Borix caught him. It's not about that he can't take a shot. It's that when you throw a bomb with a guy who can time you, there's no reset button. And this is the UFC now. This isn't Bellator, where sometimes you can get away with that just being a better athlete. Another problem too is the cardio. The other thing that makes this fight so tricky for Pico is that wrestling heavy game plans are a tax on your gas tank. If he comes out and dumps Murphy 3, 4, or 5 times in round 1, but doesn't do big damage or secure a finish, that's a lot of juice spent. And Murphy is not a guy who you want to fight tired. The more he has time to work, the more he starts dialing you in with those sniper shots. So with Pico, it's almost like you're looking at 2 fighters in one. Round 1, Pico's terrifying, that guy who could just beat on anybody in the division if you lock them in there with 5 minutes. But round 3 Pico, after a grinding pace and a bunch of scrambles, that's where you start to see openings, and that's where someone like Murphy can really take over. Now, if Pico gets those clean entries early, it changes everything. Murphy's suddenly reacting instead of dictating, and that's the thing with Pico, is that when he's on, he's not just shooting double legs and holding on for dear life. He's chaining things together. You might stuff the first shot. You might even shrug him off on the second. But by the third, he's already on your hips. You're on one leg, and now you're stuck deciding if you want to hop the fence or fight the grips and open. And I'll tell you this, man, neither one is pretty fun. That's why if Murphy gets down in that opening round, it's not the end of the world. It's how he responds to that matter. Does he pop back and force Pico to burn extra gas? Does he circle away and immediately reestablish his jab? Or does he just accept position for 30 seconds too long and let Pico rack up some control time while these judges start leaning one way? That's the chess match inside this fight. But if Murphy shuts down that first blast, maybe slides out, maybe catches Pico coming in with something sharp, then all of a sudden you can almost see the gears turning in Pico's head. He's thinking, all right, maybe I can't just run guys over. And that's when the composure of Lerone Murphy starts working. He's never been a guy to panic or waste energy on wild exchanges. He'll keep touching you with the jab, keep moving just to make you miss. And before you know it, you've lost a minute of the round trying to chase him. That's where the cardio narrative starts creeping in. Pico is pure fast twitch, explosive, powerful. But that style takes more out of you than people think. Every level change, every reset after a stuff shot, every time he has to explode into range. It all adds up. Murphy is a diesel engine. He's not flashy. He's not trying to melt your face off in the first 30 seconds, but he can keep a steady output all night without looking like he's fading. And if by the midpoint of this fight, Pico's already breathing heavy and Murphy's still fresh, that's when the balance tips, you know. You see Murphy confidence grow. He'll start stepping in behind combinations instead of single shots. He'll start walking Pico down instead of circling away. And because he still got those legs under him, those counters get even meaner. So really, the fight almost feels like a race against the clock for Pico. The earlier he can insert himself, the better chances of controlling the pace he's got. The longer it goes without him breaking Murphy's rhythm, the more it starts tilting towards the undefeated guy who's been here before and knows how to grind out a win. So the blueprint is kind of obvious. Pico needs to grab this fight by the throat early and not let it go. Murphy needs to weather that storm, force him to work harder than he wants, and then flip the script late. The question is, who actually forces the other guy into that kind of fight first, you know? But when you piece it all together, the style, the habit, you know, the danger zone, I still end up leaning towards Lerone Murphy getting it done. I just think his composure, his accuracy, and his ability to make guys work for everything they get is going to be the difference in this fight. Because Pico might come out hot. He might land takedowns. Hell, he might even drop Murphy in this fight. But over those time, I feel like those entries are going to start failing and they're going to start adding up. The explosiveness is going to start fading in round 2. And that's when Murphy starts finding those clean shots. You know, the momentum's probably going to shift. It's not going to be a blowout. I personally think Pico is too talented, too explosive for that. But I see Murphy weathering that early storm and making Pico fight at a pace he doesn't want to fight at and just steadily pulling away. Could it be a decision? Could it be a late finish if Pico really fades? But either way, I think Murphy walks out with his hand raised. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.